This book is so powerful they banned it in prisons. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is a really powerful and dangerous book. He banned it in prisons because allegedly this book got brutal manipulation tactics. If I'm being honest, if this book falls into the wrong hands, disasters can occur. Because originally this book was meant to be a defense mechanism against people that can manipulate you. But people actually did the opposite. They used this book to manipulate people. But every time Robert Greene was asked about this book, he says this is just how the world works. You don't have to believe in what's in it, but sometimes people use these laws. Robert Greene gives you a lot of historical examples of people actually applying every single law. If you're gonna read this book, don't get this one. Get the concise version, slim one, because first, most of you won't read that much. Let's be honest here. And second of all, concise version, Robert Greene gets to the point. Throw away all the BS and he gets to the point and gives you everything that you actually need. So do you need this book? In my honest opinion, yes. These laws can be applied easily in your day-to-day life. And I'm gonna give you some laws right now that you can use. If you want me to cover the whole book, comment down below. Subscribe to make this video reach more people and actually benefit from it. Let's start with law number 1. Never outshine the master. Never appear to know more than your master, even if you do. I know sometimes your intentions will be that you are trying to help, but that can make him envious. How many times you have seen boss firing the best employee in the company all of a sudden? You want to know why? Because that employee started to outshine the master, started to look like he knows it all. He got all the answers. He thinks that the master is happy with him, but he's actually hurting his ego, because the boss is just like anyone else, got an ego. If you go too much appearing your skills, it can actually backfire at you. This is how you can use the first law. If you're trying to make a deal with someone, try to make him appear as big as possible.
What do you mean by that?
Try to make him appear as he knows everything. By doing that, you're actually making him agree to a lot of things that you're gonna say, because you will be appearing that you don't know these things. You will drag him into your court and make him do what you want him to do, but it will appear that he has the original idea. It's not worth it to raise your ego by showing your abilities in front of these people, because it can result the opposite of what you want. Another law that you can actually use starting from today is law number 4. Always say less than necessary. The good old story. How many times you have opened up to someone and after you finished you actually have a regret inside of you because you feel like you have said a lot of things that you shouldn't have said in the beginning. You know why actually you said all your secrets to that person? Because when you are talking to someone and he's silent, you feel awkward. You want to fill up that awkwardness with a lot of talk. So by him saying very little, he's opened up the conversation so you can say more and more and more. By the end of the conversation, he will have a lot of your secrets because he couldn't hold back on talking. It happened to me before. I would be talking to a friend and then he would not respond that much. 1 word, 2 words, a sentence, and then he just goes silent. Did you know what I do? I just kept talking. And by the end of the conversation, I felt horrible because I told him all my secrets. And since then, I knew the power of saying less than necessary. I know it will feel awkward in the beginning when you actually stay silent while someone is talking to you. But even if you know something, you don't have to tell it all. Leave something for yourself. Leave something close to your heart until you die. Sometimes, certain things shouldn't be told ever. Ever heard of the saying, actions speak louder than words? This is law number 8. Win through actions, never through argument. This law is one of my favorites because winning through argument is a temporary triumph. You might feel good after winning an argument, but you're just building up envy and hate in the other person. If you want to convince someone, don't convince him by telling him. Convince him by showing him. For example, you can't argue with someone that is telling you that he don't want to go to the gym because it's not reasonable to lose weight in 3 months. You go there, you show him the results that you got, and he will agree with you. He will do what you want him to do. It's as easy as that. Learn to win through actions, never through arguments. Never say a word. Demonstrate, do not explicate. Law number 15. Crush your enemy totally. Since the dawn of human nature, great leaders knew that there are certain enemies that should be crushed completely, that shouldn't have another chance. You should defeat him in body and in spirit. Moses knew that, Napoleon knew that, a lot of great leaders knew that. If you don't crush your enemy completely, you can seek revenge and you will become the victim. This is why when you get the opportunity, don't hesitate to finish him completely. because you might never get that chance again. You will be living in fear because he will be seeking revenge on you. Speaking of miserable people, law number 10 says avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You know why? Because you can die from someone else's misery. How many times a friend tells you that he got a new car and all of a sudden you see that car in the streets? Say that friend tells you about his problems. All of a sudden you will feel like his problems is yours. You see someone's life is falling apart and all of a sudden you feel like yours is falling too. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases. You might feel like you are helping that person, but actually you are not. You're drowning yourself with the drowning man. You should associate with the happy and fortunate people, not the unlucky and unhappy, because you are the sum of the 5 people you spend your most time with. It's been proven over and over again. So associate with happy people and successful people and you will be one of them eventually. Tell me down below in the comments, do you want me to cover every single law? Because if you do, I will do every single law in a separate video. Moving on to law number 20. Do not commit to anybody. Don't rush and take sides. That would be so stupid. Let me tell you a story. 2 of my friends had an argument. One of these friends closer to me than the other. I took the side of that friend. And guess what? He was wrong. And guess what? They squashed all that beef and I was wrong in the end. Because I took sides. Don't do that. Don't take sides. Appear like you are in the situation, but don't actually take someone's side. Play on both sides so you don't lose. Eventually, you will be the only one that is actually winning. And I learned that the hard way. Speaking of taking sides, what about actually disappearing from both sides? This is what law number 16 states. Use absence to increase respect and honor. When you are always available, you might be loved, but you will not be always respected. You will be taken for granted. And I've been in that position too. You are always there for your friends. Anyone who calls you, you answer right away, and you are actually there for your friends, and all of a sudden they don't respect you anymore. This is why you should use absence. Learn when to disappear, when to appear. When you disappear, you will be talked about and you will be admired because you will appear that you are doing something with your life, and you actually should be doing something with your life. Be so busy that you are not always available. Play on the waiting game. Someone is texting you. You are in the middle of something. Finish that something and then reply. Don't be one of those guys that actually replies in 1 second. Don't do that. Believe me, you will be taken for granted. People don't respect those who are actually there all the time. Learn to increase your value through scarcity, through suspicion. Make them wonder, where are you? That's it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon.